Happy Halloween, guys. I'm Dutch, and this is DutchyBoyReviews, and this is my special Halloween episode. I'm very excited, so let's start this off with an intro. Oh, sorry, guys, 1 second. Go for Dutch. Oh, hey, Chief, what's up, man? Oh, nothing much, just recording a video for Halloween. You know, it's my Halloween special. But, what, oh, yeah, I know it's November 1st. I thought it'd be funny, yeah, if I recorded a Halloween video on November 1st. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, man, of course. I mean, that'd be stupid not to know that the day's November 1st, right? Alright, man, take care. Bye. FML. So yeah, I got kind of mixed up that yesterday was Halloween. But in my defense, I was gone for a few days. I went to Florida, and when I got back, I must have got the dates mixed up. Which, yesterday being Halloween would have made sense, seeing as there were kids dressed up in costume that were asking for candy. I thought it was a bit odd going trick-or-treating on October 30th, but anyway. Well, you know what? We don't need Halloween to do a top 10 scariest video games list. Let's get on with number 10. I remember hearing stories about Manhunt my senior year of high school. It was said to be this kind of snuff film slash video game. And you know, me of course being a 17-year-old in high school, I was like, cool, you know, let's get this game. Now, did it warrant all the, criticism and controversy? A little bit. I mean, you do stalk people and kill them on camera using various tools and methods and things like that. But the really thing that got me about the game was how scary it was. I mean, the first time you're getting chased after by one of the gang members and you hear how they talk about you and say nasty things, it's kind of creepy. It's very much a stealth game more than a snuff film video game. And of course, the main bad guy at the end, Pixie, that was just creepy. I mean, what's more creepier than a guy wearing a pig mask coming at you with a chainsaw? But yeah, there is legitimate scares in this game. Like I said before, the stealth mechanics used very well in the game, and having to avoid the different gangs and enemies and stuff like that, it's pretty creepy, and there's really more terrifying than being chased after them. I remember the music picking up very much so when you were found out. And really all you could do was hide in the shadows. Similar to another game on this list that scares me. I have to say, Condemned Criminal Origins was probably my favorite game on the Xbox when it first came out. It was a first-person survival horror game. I mean, yeah, you could fight back. You'd have weapons, you'd have crowbars or pipes, and you did have guns, although guns tend to run out of ammo pretty quickly. But the game offers some legitimate good scares. It was portrayed as kind of the CSI investigator kind of guy, and you're tracking down this killer known as Killer X. He's a serial killer who only kills and goes after serial killers. So pretty much you're tracking him throughout the game, and while tracking this guy down, you're going after these serial killers, trying to save them essentially from getting killed. But as you're tracking all these people down, there's something going wrong with the vagrants and bums. They're being like, I don't know if you say possessed, or they're going crazy. You don't know what's going on. So the whole time you're going after Killer X, you're trying to avoid these bums in the streets, and they tend to jump out of nowhere and try to scare you. So there really was some creepy moments, going through these abandoned buildings in the dark and trying to avoid people and trying to avoid being seen. And the times you did have to fight, hand-to-hand combat was very brutal and very violent. I remember the executions being nasty, like snapping guys' necks and smacking their head up against the ground or something like that. It's pretty good stuff. And my favorite part of the game was definitely the ending level at the farmhouse. And that was a legitimately creepy farmhouse. The ending I really enjoyed because it sets itself up well for the sequel. Now, I didn't enjoy the sequel as much as the first game. I felt the storyline started to veer more into the supernatural. The supernatural aspect of the first game was kind of hinted at, where in the second game it's sort of full blown. They're both good games. Personally, if you're looking for really good scares, you can't go wrong with either one. But for this list, I definitely picked the first one, Condemned Criminal Origins. So let's see what's next. What is there to say about Bioshock that hasn't already been said? Now, a lot of people don't put this game on, top 10 scariest games list. Most people think of it as kind of like this revolutionary first-person shooter where it's a really good story, and the story is good. But I play the game more for the scary moments. I mean, being stalked by the different citizens of Rapture who have kind of mutated themselves into these, psychopathic maniacs. I mean, it's really good stuff going around from level to level, having to fight them or avoid their traps. And who doesn't remember their first time facing the Big Daddy and like, do I attack this guy or do I go after the little girl? And of course, if you made the mistake and did attack him, well, you go at you with this huge friggin' drill, which was pretty scary in its own right. So yeah, the game has some good, legit scary moments, and even more so than I say, people scaring you, the atmosphere of the game. I mean, you've had this crazy, you know, disaster type thing happen where pretty much everyone's sort of lost it, and you're kind of coming into this world for the first time. You're seeing the aftermath, and you're seeing how all this, crazy stuff went down, and the atmosphere is really good and really creepy, sets the tone. So yeah, while the enemies do provide legit scares and trying to avoid them, especially with the Big Daddy, I think the atmosphere of the game, the setting for the game, is truly the scariest part of it. And definitely, guys, if you haven't played this, where have you been? I mean, before you know it, Bioshock Infinite or Infinite, whatever it's called, it's going to be here. And at least play through the first game. I mean, if you haven't played the first game, like I said, I don't know where you've been the past few years. It's truly a great game. Maybe more so than a scary game, it is a great game. So, I think we're at number 7 now. What is it with creepy girls being so friggin' scary? Ever since The Ring or Ringu came out and the whole creepy girl phase with like having the dark hair draped over their face became creepy. I don't know what it is about, but little girls with, black hair over their face is creepy as can be. And that was kind of the big selling point for this game. It was a tactical-ish first-person shooter with hard elements. But the hard elements definitely overshadowed the gameplay. Now, well, the gameplay is good. I especially love the slow-mo moments where you start tearing into guys and you see bullets go through and blood everywhere and all slow-mo. It's all cool and stuff. The best parts of the game is the parts where it slows down and you get to experience more of the supernatural aspects of it, as this creepy girl just stalks through and you really can't do anything to stop her. I mean, this was one of the first games where I actually had to stop playing. Like, I've been scared by other games before, but this was like the first time I encountered I had to stop the game, stop playing, because it was like, it was midnight, and I'm not gonna lie, I screamed a little bit. My parents asked me if I was okay. Of course, yeah, it's just a video game. Why are you being scared by a video game? What? It's a creepy little girl. Nah, anyway, F.E.A.R is a good game. I can't say the same for the sequels. The second one was kind of scary, kind of more action-oriented. The third one, a lot of it was outside in the daylight or, big open environments, which for a scary, first-person shooter video game, you think, corridors, tight corridors, there's no way to get away. But, it doesn't matter. The first game's where it's at. It's a very good game, very scary game. If they do make another game to it, I hope it goes back to more of the original, kind of being these tight corridors, where you having to deal with these supernatural elements that are more subtle than what's thrown at you in that second and third game. So, but yeah, guys, F.E.A.R, it's an awesome game. Check it out. Very scary. Okay, speaking of games that I had to stop playing because they scared me too much, Dead Space, another very good kind of science fiction-y alien type third-person shooter. I was pumped for this game. I remember seeing the previews for it with the creepy little, twinkle twinkle little star, something like that little girl, to the aftermath of all this, alien violence. I mean, it was such a good game, and it's one, like I said, it was one of those games where I had to cut it off. Because, of course, I'm going to play it at midnight, I'm going to play it in the dark, I'm going to play it by myself, and I'm going to, piss my pants while playing the game. But yeah, another good game. This is the game that any video game based off the Alien franchise wishes it could be. If they could make an Alien game like this, or similar to this, oh, that's what I dream for. And they did make a sequel, Dead Space 2, and actually Dead Space 3 comes out next year. Now, unfortunately, similar to how F.E.A.R 2 and 3 were to F.E.A.R 1, that's how Dead Space 2 is to Dead Space 1. Now, don't get me wrong, Dead Space 2 is another amazing game, a very scary game, but it seems like, once again, to focus more on the action and the actual, terror and fear part of the first one. The Dead Space 1, another creepy game. It's another one of those games where, I came out of my room screaming because, a little alien thing, a little necromorph just jumped out of above the ceiling and scared the mess out of me. And of course, I, being an idiot, decided to set it on fire, which pissed it off more. And then, of course, I decapitated him, which kept coming at me. And I figured out, hey, maybe if I just remember him, he'll be okay. But anyway, bringing back flashbacks to the game. But yeah, Dead Space 1, very good game. If you haven't played it, like any game on this list, play it. It will scare you. I don't care who you are. Alright, so I think we're at number 5. Are we playing another sci-fi game in space? Now, while I will say that I do tend to get scared playing games by myself at night, in the dark, and all that yada yada stuff, very rarely have I gotten scared playing a game with, people around me. And Doom 3 kind of broke that for me. I was a freshman in college when I first picked up Doom 3 for the Xbox. I didn't play it on PC, I had it on the Xbox. And me and my college roommate, we ended up putting a blanket all over the windows that let out of our college dorm room, and we had like 2 or 3 other guys in there. We're all playing Doom 3, and I remember in about an hour period playing the game, we had 3 legitimate scares where we all jumped back, like, I remember one of them getting attacked by a hell spawn beast with a chainsaw, another one, something attacking us from behind, and I was, of course, playing the game with the controller, so when the controller shook and vibrated, I jumped, and then, of course, they followed because they were scared by me getting scared. And the final one was, we were kind of in this glass room, or we were inside this room that had like this glass pane, and this huge friggin' like monster tried busting the door, and it couldn't do it. So I thought it was okay, and then the thing jumped through the glass, and it scared the crap out of me. But yeah, very good game. Now, I never played the first or second Doom. It's one of those things I didn't grow up playing. Doom 3 was my only major, my only entry into the series, and a lot of people have more love for Doom 1 and 2 than they do Doom 3. Personally, I love Doom 3. I think it's one of the scariest video games ever made. It is on this list. But yeah, another good game. I mean, it definitely deserves a space here in the top 5. If you haven't played it, do yourself a favor. The Doom BFG edition, or Doom 3 BFG edition, just came out, and it comes with Doom 1 and Doom 2. So, I mean, if you haven't played this game by now, pick it up. It's supposed to have better graphics. I haven't played it yet, so I can't vouch for it. But Doom 3 on the Xbox and PC was good. With updated graphics, it should be better. So let's get on to number 4. Now, I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series. I've owned pretty much all of the main games in the series, and I've played several of the spin-offs, whether it was the Gun Survivor series or even Dino Crisis. I've pretty much played all the Resident Evil games. I'm actually playing through Resident Evil 6 right now. But I have to say my favorite, is the original. And I did kind of debate whether or not I wanted to include the remake along with this, because the remake have some of the best graphics on the GameCube. But I don't feel like it captures the same terror, the same as the first game did. Don't get me wrong, the remake was a scary game, but I felt the first one did it better. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, there's nothing scary the first time playing through Resident Evil where the dog jumps at the window. I mean, that was my first time being scared playing a video game. It was in 1996. Uh, I was 10 years old. I had just got my PlayStation, and I had Resident Evil. And yeah, I couldn't sleep at all that night. So yeah, Resident Evil 1, it's a classic game. While not the first original survival horror game, it's the one that kind of popularized the genre. And definitely, it's one if you could, you might have an easier time finding a remake, but if you can pick up this for the PlayStation 1, definitely get it, definitely play it. I mean, why not? It's Resident Evil. It's a good game. It's a zombie game where they walk slow. You know, they're not charging at you going 1,000 miles per hour. These are like, you know, George Romero's zombies where they're all slow walking. So yeah. Anyway, going off on a tangent there. Yeah, Resident Evil 1, the original. It's one of the best games in the genre. It's definitely a scary game. It's number 4 on my top 10 list of scariest video games. So yeah, let's get on to number 3. No, I debated between this game, Silent Hill 2, and Resident Evil 1 as far as what places they should go on my list. My top 2 I always had figured out, but the rest of them going from 10 to 3 was I had to kind of debate over. But this one was one of the hardest because as a series, I like the Resident Evil series better. But as a game, I think Silent Hill 2 is the scarier of any of the Resident Evil games. I had Silent Hill 2 for the Dreamcast back in the day. I was one of the few that did actually buy a Dreamcast, and I loved the game. I thought the mechanic of walking through the fog and having the radio go staticky whenever enemies were nearby or something like that. That was a very good mechanic, and there was nothing scarier than having a little monster. I don't know what you would call them. Just move out of the fog towards you to go to attack you. It was scarier than that. And of course, Pyramid Head. I about crapped my pants playing through that. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Do I shoot him? Do I keep moving? I don't know what to do. This huge friggin' dude with like a pyramid for a head's coming at me with a blade the size of, something from Final Fantasy coming at me. I mean, yeah, scary game. It doesn't hold up quite as well for the story as I remember. Yeah, the acting and dialogue is a little cheesy. It's definitely might be as bad as some of Resident Evil's acting, but the scares are genuine. The scares will always be there. It was released on, I believe, on the PlayStation 3. I think it came with Silent Hill 2 and 3. So definitely play through those. They're good games. But Silent Hill 2 is definitely the scariest of the series. I know some fear that the series is kind of going in the wrong direction with games like Downpour and Homecoming. Those are okay games, and they're not bad. But definitely the best is Silent Hill 2. So another one, if you haven't played it, go out and play it. It is a really scary game, and you'd rather play the game than go see the movies. And I'll leave it at that. Alright, I'm not going to go into any great detail about why I think Slender of the 8 Pages is a scary game. I actually did a review on it that pretty much goes into the detail as to why. I want to more say why it's number 2 on my list. Now, while I will admit that games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill 2 are better games, this is top 10 scariest games. And this, being, however short it may be, it's legit terror hard. If you want to know why I think it's scary, watch my review of it, and that should tell you why. But yeah, it's one of the scariest games I ever played. Number 2 scariest game I've ever played. And I didn't actually include this in my review, I hear they are definitely going to upgrade. I don't know if it's a sequel or if it's kind of like a successor or a remake of the first game, but it will have multiple levels, and I guess it's more to it. So hey, I'm ready to get scared again. So now let's get on to number 1. Yeah, big shocker that this is my number 1 game. This is the scariest video game I've ever played, and I'm still haven't even beat it yet. I'm about halfway through it, and I still got more to do. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a sanity meter. It's the fact that you very rarely meet enemies, and the ones you do chase after you. I mean, go through and watch my Let's Play for. You'll see why this game scares me. It legitimately terrifies me. So, yeah, I'm not going to say anything more about this game. You can watch my Let's Play. You'll see why it's so scary. So, but yeah, guys, that was my top 10 scariest video games. And one thing I want to make clear right now, this list might not include some games such as Cthulhu or Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, or System Shock 2. It's because I haven't played those games. Um, for whatever reason, never had a chance to play them, so that's why they're not on this list. I'm pretty sure they would be if I had played them, so don't give me no hate or nothing like that just because I didn't include those games. So. But anyway, guys, I'm Dutch, and this is DutchyBoyReviews, and I'll see you next time.